Alright, so I figure I'd give you a look at the plant before I actually do the tomato review. This is the Zima tomato, and I grew them out from the Zima tomatoes I bought from the store. And this plant absolutely grew absolutely enormous, way bigger than I wanted it to get. Unfortunately, when I put all my tomato plants in here, I wasn't really planning on leaving them there. It was just supposed to be temporary. Hopefully the house was going to sell and the plants wouldn't have got that big, and I was just going to take them with me. Well, house didn't sell, and now I have gigantic plants in here. So basically I left them, and because of the fact that I don't know, you could call those cherry tomatoes or little grape tomatoes. Those kind of tomato varieties tend to be way more aggressive than the larger tomato varieties, which are like something like this. Those are very slower. Once they start fruiting, they tend to slow down in their growth and everything. With cherry tomatoes, they don't stop even when they're fruiting. They just keep going and going and going and going and going all the way to the top of my greenhouse, and they're already pushing up against the plastic. And that's got to be at least 8 to 9 feet tall. So these things are absolutely ridiculously huge, and they really took over the whole space and crowded out all the other tomatoes. Again, I did not actually plan for this to happen. It just kind of happened that way. So it is what it is. But in any case, this is the Zima tomato, and here's the leaf of the Zima tomato. It's basically a regular leaf tomato. As you can see, I'm starting to get tomato leaf mold. See that there? When it starts to fully develop, I'll do a video about tomato leaf mold and what to look for and the warning signs of it. But these are the Zima tomatoes right there. I'll pick one. I'm going to bring these in and we're going to sit at the table. Now, I have read some people in some forums that some people tried to grow this tomato, and it doesn't come out 100% true. It might the first year, and then the second year it comes out a little weirder and weirder. So you could see this tomato is almost like a jelly bean, basically, which is kind of a strange shape. It's a little bit different than what I bought as far as shape goes. The shape looked more like this, but I don't know if that's going to be, if that really matters or what. But these are a little bit smaller, and the shapes are more shaped like this rather than, you know, like a little grape tomato like that. And that's basically what you were getting in the store. Maybe what's in the store, they're actually hand selecting them based on, you know, when you buy the Zima tomatoes in the package, they might be specifically picking certain shapes and sizes and putting them in the package. So that's a very real possibility for this tomato. But here it is, and we'll bring it up front and we will do a taste test on it. But I just wanted to show you the plant. This plant is absolutely enormous. It goes all the way up to the ceiling, all the way to there, and you can see tomatoes hanging off the top, and it's still producing tomatoes. It's great. I really like the tomato a lot. It's just I didn't want to crowd out all my other varieties the way it did, and unfortunately it did. So I don't know. It's just like that sometimes with tomatoes. You know, you don't plan on something. You know, I didn't really think this tomato plant would get this big, but it actually overpowered all the other tomato plants. And what I can't say about it is in general, it is disease resistant. So this plant is really didn't get any blight on it. Some of the other plants in here are starting to get late blight, and you know, they're starting to get the leaf mold. Well, they're all starting to get leaf mold, you know, and that's the beginning right there. That yellow spot's not blight, that's actually leaf mold, and it forms on the bottom of the leaf. It's very similar to downy mildew, but for tomatoes. Specifically tomatoes. It doesn't affect any other plant, it only affects tomatoes. So you can see it's killing my flowers. All the flowers are starting to turn brown and die off. That's from the mold. It's the white mold or the leaf mold or the gray mold. I don't know which. There's like 7, 8 different species of it. But nonetheless, that's what it looks like. So let me bring you inside and we'll do a taste test on it. We'll cut it open and show you what it looks like on the inside. See you there. Alright, so we're up to the Zima tomato taste test part of the review. And again, this is the Zima tomato. I grew these from store-bought seeds that I got from the tomato packages. So this would be like an F1, I guess you would want to call it, just so I know where I'm at as far as how many generations I can get out of the tomato before it either doesn't hold its its shape and form anymore, or even just how it performs. If it stays a Zima year in, year out, it may or may not. So this is its first year I'm growing it, so I would call it F1 in my terms. It's probably not the legal definition of it, but that's just my definition and my way of keeping track of it. So here's what it looks like on the inside. Not really. Anyway, that's what it looks like on the inside. And we'll do a bricks. Slightly over 10. That's pretty high for a sweetness. Or minerals and stuff like that. So it's pretty good. There's a lot of something in there. It's mostly sugar that I'm reading on there, but there is some other minerals that's picking up some of those minerals too. So again, I don't know how much about this. It's most likely a Solanum Lycopersicum variant because it's hybridized. It looked like a regular leaf to me, and it is a hybrid. So I mean, I'm surprised I even got tomatoes out of it like this. I guess it's somewhat stabilized. So I would imagine in the future it's probably going to be available one day on the market. It'll be available. So hopefully it will. And that's about all I can say about it, so let's give it a taste test. I would definitely have to say it's above 35% on the sweetness. I'm going to say like 37. It's not quite 40, but it's definitely like a 37 on the sweetness. Tang is really low. The tang is probably, I'd probably say like 30%, so it's not really low, but it's not quite as high with the sweetness. So you can really taste the sugar in this tomato. And the texture of the tomato, it's kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. It's not like a chalky or a watery, gushy type of tomato. It is very moist and wet when you eat it. But the flesh on it is very unique. It's sort of like chewing a candy almost. It's a very soft, chewy type of a flesh. It breaks right up. It's a very weird experience with this tomato. The skins were a little bit tougher on it, but not really. I mean, I managed it. If you eat the whole tomato, if you cut them up into little pieces, then the skins get stuck in your mouth. But if you eat a whole tomato by itself, just like that, they don't tend to get stuck in your mouth, and they chew up pretty easily. Now, are these tomatoes, do they taste better than they did in the wintertime when I'm buying them during the winter? I would say very close to it, if not slightly better. I would definitely have to say probably slightly better. And the reason why I'm kind of like on the fence about that is because I really don't remember how good they tasted during the winter time, though they did taste really good. But I have bought a pack or two of these during the winter, and they didn't taste good at all. In fact, I stopped buying them after that. They didn't seem like they wanted to rot very easily. They just kind of went from like a sweet, delicious taste to a unbearable, bitter, unedible state without rotting. So I don't know. And I stopped buying them. So it's hard for me to say if they were better or not. I would definitely have to say they were as good, if not slightly better. They do have a nice juicier flavor to them. I'll eat one more and we'll end the review. But like that one I just ate there had a slight honey flavor to it, like a slight clover honey flavor to it. Very slightly. I don't even know how to describe it. It tasted a little bit like honey, to be honest with you, with a tomatoey flavor to it. So, a real nice tomato. I'm very infatuated with this tomato. I would definitely say give it a grow. If you've never grown them before, just save them from the store, save some seeds and grow it 1 year and see how you like them. I like them a lot. Now, I'm not going to go out of my way to grow these only because I grow so many other tomato varieties and I do a lot of tomato reviews that I really can't, I don't have the space to just keep growing these and review them every year. I just wanted to give them a shot. I might grow them next year to see if they come true again. I may show it to you on video or not. It's really not that important to me. But you can grow them, and you do get a pretty good tasting tomato, to tell you the truth. So I would definitely say if you're not looking or you don't have money to buy seeds, I would definitely say at least go to the store and buy these and give them a try and save some seeds and grow them in the spring, and you'll get a really good healthy crop out of them. If you don't grow them in a tight environment like you've seen in my greenhouse, and you let them grow wild on the ground, they'll produce hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of tomatoes. The only reason why it's not doing as good in the greenhouse is because, number one, it's growing upright, and number two, it just doesn't have the root area down below. It's completely root bound. That whole area got root bound. And so it needs room to spread out and lay down and put down roots by each node, and it'll get really big and put out hundreds upon hundreds of tomatoes. I'm perfectly confident of that. So give it a go. You know, pick them up at the store. I got these from Walmart, so you know, you should be able to see them there. But definitely worth growing. I definitely like the tomato. I you know, if it wasn't for the fact that I grew so many other tomatoes, I would definitely be growing these every year. But I got to move on to different stuff. So anyway, that's your tomato review for the Zima F1. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.